Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short, little unboxing video to share with you guys. Bear with me, this is a bad allergy day for me this time of year, and the polar opposite time of year. Usually the worst, but we'll get through it. Thanks so much to my patrons for supporting me. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex, and make sure your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. We have something here from Knife Standards. Now, I've reviewed at least 2 models from Knife Standards in the past, and they've both been really fun. There's always a unique aesthetic. In fact, there's typically a theme. I don't want to guess because it might be something different, but there's typically a theme, and they're pretty instantly recognizable. So we're going to find out what it is. It did come with some paperwork, most likely because this is a pre-order or it's about to launch or something like that. Yes, in fact, it says right here, this is going to drop September 5th at 11 a.m. PST, or Pacific Standard Time. This is the new and improved version of my first design, the RR Standard. That's cool. That's interesting because that was a really good design. Everything I do with Knife Standards is dedicated to my dad. You'll see his initials RR somewhere on all my designs to honor him and his memory. Fridays are my drop days. This is after the part about the drop. Be sure to check in every Friday for restocks, new drops, etc. So, this has some really good specs. I just want to show his Instagram here real quick. We'll take a look at the knife, and then we'll take a look at those specs. So there's his Instagram right there, and you can check him out if you want to. Let's see what we've got here. So, I really enjoyed the first one. Oh boy, this does look good. I loved the first one so much. This is so cool, man. These look so much different than you... I like, you know, it is still a frame lock. It's like a subframe lock. This is interesting how we've done on this side subframe lock, and then we have a full-on titanium scale with the same material inlaid in. Just a really unique look. But yeah, they look completely different than the typical frame locks and the typical pocket knives that we see released essentially every other day in the knife community. Let's go ahead and reverse flick it. Oh, very fun. So this is definitely a different blade shape than the first one, but it looks really, really good. What we have here is actually, I mean, yeah, I guess we still call it a compound blade. We have a aggressive hollow grind through about 97%, 95% the length of the blade, and then a very subtle, thick, flat ground tip. So you actually, that's a beefy tip there for sure, but you end up with an enormous amount of cutting belly right here. Really like an extended, super thin edge. This is in Magna Cut, and now it says right here on the paperwork, we'll talk about specs here real quick. The Magna Cut is at 63 to 64, so that's maxed out. Absolutely. Compound, hollow ground, belt satin blade, fat carbon fiber inlays, the signature milling pattern, which is really cool. I mean, like how it comes diagonally off of this center flat is just awesome. He's continued it over here, but just underneath the scale, right? This is nice. If anybody's wondering, like, what's the benefit of that, the subframe lock, I like it because no matter where I choose to brace with the rest of my hand, I can flick it out and not have to worry about whether or not I'm putting pressure on that lock bar, because you're not putting any pressure on it. And if you remember the first time that you experienced a frame lock or subframe lock or whatever, depending on how much of the lock was exposed, you might have had a really hard time with it because you don't realize how hard you're squeezing on that lock bar to when you deploy the blade. It makes it feel impossible. In fact, to this day, you will regularly see, they're kind of funny and also kind of like you feel bad for them. You'll see reviews on sites like Blade HQ, people giving like 1 or 2 star reviews to frame locks, and it'll say like, it's terrible. No matter what I tried, I couldn't open this frame lock. I couldn't flip it, or I couldn't kick it out with the thumb stud. The deten's way too heavy. And all of us know exactly what's happening there. In fact, some of you watching right now might actually be with that mindset. You might be like, I returned this knife to Blade HQ for that same problem. You were pushing on the lock bar. You might not have realized it. You were holding down that lock bar. You have to take your fingers. Instead, like if you could imagine here with me that this was an exposed frame lock, right? Instead of bracing your fingers on top of that lock bar while you deploy it, which creates additional pressure making it very difficult for that detent ball to break away from the hole, the detent hole, right? Instead of that, you put pressure on the frame, and then you go to deploy so that the lock bar tension works as intended and the detent ball is released. But I remember the first time dealing with a frame lock, first time ever, and it was a ZTO 562 was my first frame lock. Boy, oh boy, did I think there was something wrong with that knife. There wasn't. So, anyways, yeah, the benefit of this is that, even if you are aware that can happen, you don't have to worry about it because all the pressure goes into the scale and not the lock itself. Let's go ahead and I want to keep reading here real quick. Enjoy and carry. This is yours to keep. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. I've included a list of full specs. Okay, so here I'm going to just let you guys take a look here, and then if you want, because this is in 4K, 60 frames per second. So if you crank the definition up all the way and then pause this video, you should be able to zoom in and read everything if you want to. I'd like to do some size comparisons real quick. So what do we have out here? We have the Spyderco PM Para 3 and the PM2. This is a pretty big knife. What did he list this as? The cutting edge itself is 3.5 inches, but the blade is 4 inches. So I'm going to guess that this is, bigger than the original. I'm going to guess this is almost an XL version of the original. So you have a 4-inch blade, and overall length is coming in at 8.83 inches. So a big knife for sure. Not XL, but big. Let's put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue. Let's put it up against my own Excalibur. I think it's bigger than Excalibur. Yeah. I mean, I would have to be with that size. About a 1/4 inch longer, it looks like. But I really like the ergonomic zones. You guys probably saw me, choking up here, and even in the standard position, really, really good. I like both of those grips. Let you guys take a look at that plunge grind. Looking good to me, but everybody's got a different thought about that. What's this numbered? 22. Okay. Very cool. Let's put it up against, here's one we don't do often enough. The Spyderco Shaman. It's Shaman. Benchmade Bug Out. What else we got up here that would be fun? We have the Flytanium Arcade. Great knife. We have the Demco Shark Cub. Miguron Moyarl. How about that? We got the Hogue Deca. Just grabbing whatever's out here. Okay. And then anything that is roughly the same size. What do I have that's about the same size? I think, well, I thought I had here it is. Yeah. The Pyrite. The large Pyrite. I think it's actually almost exactly the same size as the large Pyrite. The large Pyrite might be 9 inches on the dot. So that's the size of knife that you're looking at here. And while the spec sheet probably had weight, we're going to go ahead and do it again. This is a ridiculously smooth knife. It is running on bearings, but my goodness, like the pivot action is insane. Yeah, I'm not feeling hardly anything in there inside of the pivot. It's one thing for the blade to be fall shut, which truthfully isn't that difficult to accomplish nowadays. But it's another thing entirely for it to be fall shut and for me to barely be able to feel the bearings, right? That's where I kind of indicate like this is action that feels beyond your typical good action, right? Titanium, carbon fiber, MagnaCut, titanium for the clip. We're coming in at 5.1 ounces, which is honestly not bad considering how big of a knife this is and how much titanium's on it. Okay, very cool. I am a fan of this first impressions. Today's video, of course, is not a review. It's just a first impressions video. So you'll get the full review a little bit down the road. But that's going to be it for today. Thanks so much for sending this in. Links in the description for this guy. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.